$7,792. Bonuses, Oliveira and Lentz, fight of the night. Knockout of the night, Congo. Sub of the night, Lausanne. They all got $50,000 each. I think this is one of the best cards we've ever done. From top to bottom, great fights. We're gonna make this thing quick. Who's first? Go ahead.
Charlie, could you explain what this week has been like for you, being on the card, then off, and back on again?
It's surreal, man. I came here this week. I was immediately told I didn't have a fight. Joe Silva said I had to make weight, to get the show money. We just stayed the course with my coaches and I, and ended up working out for the best.
How much do you think your wrestling background helped you in this fight here?
It's it's what got me here. It's what I've done since I was 8 years old. It's what I revert to, and it helped me get the win without a doubt.
Thanks.
My question for Rick. Rick, you obviously had this fight at the last minute, but you also are on this card because you took a fight on short notice. Looking back on your decision, you were on a 6-fight win streak. You were skyrocketing. Would you have done anything different now that this situation is what it is, and what do you learn from this experience?
Well, coming into this fight, I was prepared to fight a kickboxer with jiu-jitsu. I wasn't prepared to fight a shorter wrestler or a shorter attacking wrestler. What was that? Oh, I'm sorry. Coming into this fight, I was prepared to fight a taller kickboxer with jiu-jitsu. I wasn't prepared to fight a shorter attacking wrestler, so I didn't train as much wrestling or any wrestling for this last 3 weeks, and you got the better of me tonight.
There was talk prior to this that, help DSP, things like that. Your plan, your goal is to win the title, to fight for the title. Obviously, you step back. What do you do now? What is your plan?
This is a setback, but I got to go back and train my heart out. I got to train and, come in well-rounded all fights and prepared for everything in all fights, no matter if it's short notice or not.
Strategy within the octagon, how'd that come about for today?
Sorry. Man, it's just skills that I've always had and just never shown because I'm so excited to be in the UFC and just wanted to smash people and kill people. I just kind of realized I got to use some of my skills to win. Also, I'm not just going to walk through everybody like I have. Some of the lower levels. And, you find the best in the world, you got to be smart.
That it? Any more questions? Go ahead.
Dan, how would you assess this first foray into Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it didn't suck. It was a great night. The fights were awesome. These guys came in and delivered. I say this all the time. We're very lucky in the UFC that we've got guys like Rick Story, Brenneman, all these guys that will step up when bad things happen. These guys will step up and put on a show like the show you saw tonight. From the first prelim to the main event, they killed it tonight. It was awesome. And not to sound goofy or condescending to these guys, but I'm proud of all the guys that fought on this card tonight. I think this is one of the best cards we've ever had.
Dana, can you talk a little bit about how it came together with Charlie taking the fight? It sounds like it wasn't something that just happened yesterday, but maybe earlier in the week.
Well, it's one of those weird things that happen. His opponent falls out. He's not fighting in his hometown. The situation happens with Story and Mark Hart. We end up asking him to fight. He jumps in and takes the fight. Rick Story stays in and takes the fight. It's just it's the way these guys are. It's what I talk about. And I was sitting with Coach Tomlin tonight, and one of the things that he was saying is that he loves the UFC so much is we make the fights. The fights always get made. If you're pumped to come see a card, first time ever in Pittsburgh, bad things happen, but we still put it together. Same thing happened in Vancouver when Brock Lesnar got sick. We were able to put on the Shane Carwin fight, and it's not just the UFC; it's these guys stepping up to the plate and seizing the opportunities. His fight tonight was a Rocky story here in his hometown. He's getting the shot at the kid who's hot, and on his way to a title shot, he takes the fight and comes in and wins it. You know, that's the other thing about this sport. You never know who's going to win. You never do.
And Charlie, can you talk a little bit about when it felt like maybe the fight could happen, and when it seemed like it was definitely going to happen?
Yeah, you know, this whole week has been a roller coaster. So to be honest, when we got to weigh-ins and we were told, you know, you might have to wait till 3:59, or you might not even know until tomorrow if you're fighting. You know, what can I do other than sit there and try to remain professional and try to do what I do, and you know, it worked out.
Impressive performance tonight, and each time out here recently, it appears that your striking is growing by leaps and bounds. You've been working with Race Athletic, Extreme Couture. Can you kind of talk about that progression and how you felt in the octagon?
Yeah, actually, I felt like a wee bit sluggish today. I'm actually really disappointed with how my hands were coming out. I wasn't. Is that better? I felt like a wee bit sluggish. I felt like my hands weren't coming out the way I anticipated them coming out. I've got quite a bit to work on, quite a bit to develop on. But you know, honestly, man, I'm happy. As soon as I punched him, you know, first couple times I could see like, well, that didn't land too. You know, like he didn't like that too much, and so I was like, well, I'm pretty comfortable with trading off on him a little bit, and I felt like I was a little bit quicker than him. So it was good. Coach Ray actually, we worked on. I always throw straight down the pipe, and I think anybody that sees me fight sees that. But I actually worked on throwing like in the pocket hook and then come over to straight left. And right before I knocked him out, I was like, well, what the hell, I might as well try it. And then threw it because he was keeping his hands up top, you know, so he's covering for that straight shot. And so I kind of looped around, stuck him, and then turned his chin over a bit. So Coach Ray actually made me comfortable with that hands. So it was good.
What kept you from rushing in on him as you got to the first round?
Somebody was still home. You know, he wasn't the taste that I wanted him to be. Yeah. So like a little bit of discretion there. And like the second one, honestly, I thought they were gonna stop the fight because of the way he fell. I thought it was over. So and then once he didn't, I was like, well, I might as well kind of capitalize on it because he looked like he was pretty loopy. But you know, that was my fault. I rushed in at the wrong angle. I should have taken a loop angle coming around the back and then kind of teed off on him. But you know, I didn't, and that's why I didn't finish him off. But I wasn't too worried about his hands, wasn't too worried about his power, and I felt like his wrestling I was going to be fine against him.
This question's for Dana. Dana, with Rick Taken going on this card on short notice and then fighting a guy who took the fight on even less notice, the fact that he lost it, given those circumstances, maybe he doesn't fall as far down the ladder in the division because of those circumstances?
No, not at all. He's been on an incredible win streak. Just came off a win over Thiago Alves. He's my kind of guy. You know, this kid's a fighter. He comes in and he's got that attitude like Chuck Liddell. I mean, this kid just fought Thiago Alves, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, and then jumps right back into another fight in the main event against a tough guy like Nate Marquardt. The opponent gets pulled from him last minute. He just said, I was training for a kickboxer, and you know, and he still took the fight. I have nothing but respect for him.
This question is for Czech Congo. Czech, now that you've headlined and won in spectacular fashion, do you feel that you've silenced some of your critics for some of your previous performances where they thought that you hadn't done as well as they had expected, and what do you want next?
So I have any clue about that. So, the thing I just want to be that's to be one of the next contenders. So I'm just keeping trying to focus on the goal I have, and with my good partners at the Musler, you know, we're gonna reach this goal. So and about everything that people say, I don't pay attention about that. So I just keep going, you know, and stay positive in my mind.
When you were in the middle and you were striking and kind of thought that it was coming close to the end of the fight, did you think that Mergliata had stopped it?
As far as I can remember, the second time when he folded backwards over his legs, I can almost recall Dan Mergliata's leg kind of touching my arm. He was so close. So for a split second, I was, you know, I thought this is it. I mean, the way that he was falling around from the punches, I was like, this is. I've seen, you know, fights get stopped before, and I was like, this looks like a fight that would get stopped. But the second one where he fell backwards, that's in my head. I thought it was going to get stopped, but that didn't do anything. That didn't cause me to stop trying to hit him. Like, I mean, just with all the preparation, all the training, all the fights that I've been in before. I mean, you keep hitting him until the referee steps in. And for a split second, I thought it did, but that didn't stop me from attacking or anything like that.